So why is self-love important? Self-love is important because it allows for someone to feel this feeling of self-worth, of stability, of reliability, of just amazing comfort and care. A person can feel all of this from themselves, within themselves. This comes from within. And it's easier to receive it from others when we already know what it feels like, when we are already there doing these things. If we're not loving ourselves, then it feels like the opposite. It feels uncomfortable. It feels not reliable. It feels like something that can be easily lost. But if you are constantly cultivating it or constantly in that space of loving yourself, then it's easy to accept it from others, and it's easy for you to release it as well. When it's easy to release it, it's also easy to attract and accept. The first self-love habit is being aware of how you talk to yourself. And before I go on with this habit, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like if you're enjoying this video so far. So what I used to do before, and just to give you a little bit of backstory about me, and I won't make a long story longer, I have experienced rape, sexual assault, molestation, homelessness, domestic violence, physical abuse, all of those things I experienced as a child, and then I experienced a lot of them again as an adult. And when I went into grad school, I decided that I really wanted to work with clients from a centered place. I really wanted to be centered and take care of my own shit before I tried to help other people with theirs. So it's really important for me to do the inner work on myself. And with doing all of that inner work on myself and constantly learning about human behavior, about accomplishments, about confidence, about self-esteem, about the law of attraction, about love, about parenting, about children, women, people, that has enabled me to provide so much of an enriched experience when I work with my clients. I am so honored, and it brings me so much joy to be able to work with my clients in the way that I work with them because I did this work on myself. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I do focus on joy, I focus on having fun, and focus on creativity, and really focus on identity shifts and things like that. So if you're interested in my services or having me as your coach, find me on any of my social media at #LupitaVCoaching, anywhere. Send me a message. I'd love to start that conversation with you. Okay, so back to the first habit. First habit is being aware of how you speak to yourself. So the Lupita from before, because she was so used to hearing this growing up, like I adapted that identity, I adapted that mindset, I adapted that way of thinking of whenever you make a mistake, you are ridiculed or harshly criticized for it. So if I made a mistake, I would say to myself, oh my gosh, Lupita, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? What the fuck is your problem? This is me talking to me in my head. So in order to start attracting more real love, more just love into my life, I decided to become aware first, become aware that I'm having these conversations in my head with myself. And it's totally okay to talk to yourself. It's totally okay to answer yourself as well. I don't care what other people think. I'm a mental health professional. I'm telling you, it's okay. But if you want to attract more love into your life, then it's important for you to be aware of the language that you're using, the vocabulary and the tone. And so I decided that I wanted to change that. And I knew that if I changed the way I talk to myself, I was going to change the way I talk to other people as well. And then that was going to just almost automatically, just by doing it so consistently, it was going to change the way other people spoke to me. Whether it was I didn't tolerate the other way, or they just started to model or mirror whatever it was that I was doing. And so whenever I made a mistake, instead of saying like, oh my gosh, Lupita, that's so fucking stupid, what the fuck is wrong with you again, or anything like that, I would say, first, it was a learning process, right? It's a learning experience. And so I would say, oh my gosh, again, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I'd stop, like, no. Take a deep breath. You know what? It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay that you messed up. So what? So you fucked up. Everybody fucks up. Everybody makes mistakes. It's fine. Let's just keep going. Let's keep rolling with the punches. Let's keep moving forward. And as we move forward, let's make sure what we can do to not make that mistake again, okay? But everything's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's fine. Everything always works out for you. And so as soon as I started to do that more often, I started to feel better about myself, and I became more compassionate to myself, towards myself, about making mistakes, because that's what it's about. That's what being human is about, is making mistakes. My name is Lupita. It's not Jesus. And even if your name is Jesus, right, you're still not that Jesus, to where it's not likely for you to make a mistake. We're all going to make mistakes all of the time. See, I just made one right now, and I just kept going with it. And it's about being okay with making mistakes. You did a good job, Lupita. Self-love habit number 2 is the music you listen to. And this is so important. I'm in my 30s. I know you couldn't tell, right? My generation, I grew up with cassette players and DVD players, Walkman, things like that. And we're so used to drowning out our emotions. It is more comfortable for us to listen to music than to get in tune with our emotions. There's a lot of things going on during the 90s with just teenage angst and revolutions having to do with race and music and things like that. And so that is very, very important to me. And I'm also a DJ, so I'm extremely passionate about music. The important thing to keep in mind when it comes to music, though, is that the music that you listen to, especially the music that you're listening to all of the time, can be potentially harming your value system, what you value, and your self-esteem. So recently, I was thinking of a song that I couldn't get out of my head. It was from the 90s, from Philly's Most Wanted. And it just kind of like had this like really catchy tune. And I listened to it, right? I listened to it recently, and I was just like, oh my gosh, wow, I can't believe I listened to this all of the time. It was just like a song just talking about degrading women, throughout the song. But it's definitely not something that I would choose to listen to now. But where I am in my life, I am really in this place where I constantly am surrounded by love all of the time. And when I hear something that doesn't make me feel that, I have gotten to this place where I'm okay with changing the channel or changing the song. Like, you know, I don't feel like, I'm not about this life anymore. It's not about me. Like, I'm not about it. I can just change it. And I can choose to put something on, something else that makes me feel more loved, more empowered, just more me, resonates with the person that I am. Lots of powerful stuff that I listen to. Talib Kweli, like, he's one of my favorite. There's also things that I like to attract because I am single, so attracting men and certain types of men and the way that they think is important to me too. This is an example of how you can use music to help with self-love. So there's a song by Ozuna and Manuel Turizo, and it's called Vaina Loca. That song is about a man singing to a woman, saying that she is beautiful, gorgeous, without makeup. She has this beautiful energy about her. Whenever he's around her, he just always feels that feeling, and he wants to be with her no matter what, regardless, right? That message, I love taking in that message because for me, it's kind of, I like to imagine that my soulmate is thinking that way about me. I like to imagine and daydream that the man that is meant for me is thinking that way about me. That gets me excited. It doesn't make me feel as though I am lacking. It doesn't make me feel like, oh, I wish I had a man like that. It gets me excited. The daydream itself, right? And then having the song connected to the daydream, like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet that man. I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep on doing me, being this amazing, awesome, fucking loving, beautiful person that I am, and continue to listen to this music where my soulmate is communicating with me. My soulmate is speaking to me through music. And all I have to do is just continue to be myself, and we will either find each other or he will find me. However, whatever I believe is going to happen is exactly what's going to happen. So there's other songs that help me attract that, help me stay in that mindset, help me stay in that mentality of being excited about love instead of feeling the lack of it. So another song is a song by Michael Bublé, and it's, I don't remember the title, but it's I Still Haven't Met You Yet. And so he's just like talking about this beautiful, amazing woman and what they're gonna do together and all of these great things, but he just hasn't met her yet. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I know, we haven't met yet. That's okay, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. Another song is, I mean, John Legend has just like so many loving, really unconditional, real love songs that I like to listen to that just bring in more of that loving feeling, that excitement and loving feeling of like, okay, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm gonna be okay. Self-love habit number 3 is remind yourself of how amazing you are. And this actually goes back to self-love habit number 1, talking to yourself and being aware of how you talk to yourself. But when you're reminding yourself, remind yourself that it's okay to be where you are. It's okay to want love. It's okay to want to attract love. It's okay to want the things that you want. And you're not asking for too much. When you're doing these things, also remind yourself of the things that you like about yourself. Like, oh, Lupita, I like that you said that. Like how I was talking to myself in the beginning of the video, like, oh, you did a good job. These things are okay. And I know that might seem cheesy or like, that's weird, but they work. And in addition to this third tip, I want to share something with you, like a bonus, something that is very revolutionary. And I have started to use this with my clients. Instead of using affirmations, ask a question. They're called lofty questions, and I actually got the idea from Vishen Lakely. Oh, what's his name? Lekioni? Oh, I'm butchering it. I'm so sorry, Vishen. I'm totally butchering it. I'm so sorry, Vishen. Please. So, he actually got the idea from one of his authors in Mind Valley. And lofty questions is asking yourself a question having to do with whatever it is that you're trying to attract. When we're saying affirmations, often they don't work because the other part of your brain is looking for evidence. And so if it's looking for evidence and it doesn't find it, right, or it's not used to finding it, then the affirmation won't work. And this doesn't always happen. I'm not saying that affirmations never work. I'm just saying in most cases, your brain is trying to make a connection and it makes familiar connections. And if it seems too off, if it can't find a connection that's familiar, it won't. Unless you've done it enough where it's practiced and it can, or you can connect the dots and tell yourself that, right? And a lot of people, it's kind of difficult. That can be too new. So ask yourself a lofty question instead. And so I'm single and I'm trying to attract beautiful, gorgeous, intellectual, accomplished, spiritually in tune, emotional, just ready men. Instead of saying, I attract gorgeous men all of the time, blah, 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 I'm going to ask myself a question instead and use it in this form. Why am I always attracting gorgeous, smart, emotionally intelligent, well-established, awesome, amazing, and ready men? Why does the universe, why does God always send me those types of men? So instead of the affirmation where your brain won't make the connection, in asking the question, your brain will start to look for the connections, will start to look for answers, because whatever you ask your brain, it will find the answer to. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you practiced any of these self-love habits. Comment below on which ones worked for you, which ones didn't. I'd love to hear about your experience. Thank you again. And you can reach out to me on any of my social media again, LupitaVCoaching, anywhere. And remember, you've always been enough. Take care.